Hi everyone, my name is Sriteja and today I'll be presenting Wellnest, your ultimate AI health advisor for college students. Let's get into it. Believe it or not, this is actually a picture of Dr. Greg, one of our esteemed program instructors while he was in college. I'm just joking, this is totally AI generated, but for the sake of this presentation, let's say that this is young Dr. Greg. He's a college student and juggles so many things: academics, extracurriculars, sports, social events, and just so much more. He has a really busy life but wants to optimize his health. Let's say one day he has a health related question and needs some advice. What does he do? The first option is manual research. This includes researching across a bunch of different university health portals, PubMed databases, and other academic journals, and verified news sources. But this is simply just not feasible because college students don't have time. That's why the vast majority go to option 2, which is quick search. This includes traditional LLMs like ChatGPT, which is fast but completely unreliable because these LLMs don't distinguish between sources, and sometimes you only get one or two sources. You don't get the full picture. And the worst option of all is probably social media and other forums. This is basically a bunch of misinformation heaped together, and algorithms in these social media apps are primed to give you more misinformation because that's what gets more of the clicks and more of the likes. This is a real problem because the result is delayed medical care, unnecessary stress and anxiety, and potentially harmful self-treatment. Don't believe me? This is actually true. 41% of the teenagers can't tell the difference between what's true and what's fake in terms of online health messages. And the Physicians Foundation issues a new survey that finds health misinformation and disinformation on the rise, which actually hinders patient care across the United States. This is getting translated to the hospital. That's why I introduced Wellnest. It's an instant and evidence-based health guidance tool that blends 4 critical sources of information. Its core strength is its multi-source synthesis of information. What does this mean? That means that Wellness, as I said before, blends 4 critical sources of information. The first being university health guides. So these include PDFs from different universities like Columbia, Penn State, CU Boulder that have basically a bunch of their health advice to students bundled in one PDF. And you can actually find this online, and it has topics like nutrition, stress, sleep, mental health, and so many more student success topics. And the thing is that this is actually not popular among college students. Nobody even knows it's there. Then its other tool is Current Health News, which basically searches the web for articles and the latest trends. And then you have 2 academic search papers. The first being arXiv Search, which is general scientific STEM research from the arXiv journal. Then you have Medical Research Tool, which basically searches the PubMed database for medical studies and other peer-reviewed medical-related studies. Let's see how it works. So an example query is, how can I improve sleep in a noisy dorm? The response includes dorm-specific sleep and hygiene tips from the built-in university health guides, research on all-nighters and academic performance from one of the academic search tools, and current articles about popular sleep apps from the web search. So the technical architecture you can see here, once you have an input query, it goes to the agent. The agent has 4 tools at its disposal, basically what I mentioned before, of the 4 sources of information. Then once it uses these tools, it can use them an indefinite amount of times. It goes to the output message at the end. So as you can see here, the University Health Guides is actually a RAG component of this app. What does that mean? This means that all of the documents that are built into this app, they're basically embedded into a bunch of numbers, and an embedding model does that work. And you can see that all these vectors are in a vector database. So when you have an input query, that query gets converted into a vector itself. And that input query is then compared with all of the different vectors in the vector database. The ones that are the most similar to the input query are then retrieved, and then that's what gets sent to the LLM. So once the LLM has the input query and the retrieved context, that's what allows it to piece together a response. So as for the tech stack, we can see that for the LLMs, for the RAG component, we have GPT 4.1 Nano. This is just an affordable and effective model because we're not really doing some high-level thinking tasks for the RAG. But for the agentic reasoning, for the main application, basically, we use GPT 4o Mini. This is like GPT 4o, which is one of the flagship models, but it's at 1/10 of the cost and about 90% of the performance. So it's actually pretty good. As for the embedding model, we have OpenAI's Text Embedding 3 Small. It basically has the best performance to cost ratio for document embeddings like the ones that I have. As for data handling and workflow, we have LangGraph and LangChain for orchestration, like allowing for the entire application to be pieced together. And for the vector database, we have Qdrant, which is basically the industry standard, but it's also fast and it has a dependable storage for embeddings. As for tracking and performance, we can see that we have LangSmith for observability. It works with the LangChain, LangGraph, basically that entire ecosystem, but it's good for transparency and observing everything that's going on when you use the app. And then for evaluation, we use RAGAS for some advanced metrics. As for the front end, we have Next.js for smooth UI, TypeScript for type safety, Tailwind CSS for just a nice smooth looking UI, and ESLint for code linting and other errors. So now we can see the app in action. So let's go here. So we have two modes, chat mode and card mode. The chat mode is a traditional chatbot. So you can see before you send something, you can choose your voice. So you can pick how you want the chatbot to respond. So you can see that there are different voices here. The coach is just the traditional action-oriented one, so that's the one that I went with. And an example query is, what should I drink before I sleep? Are there any academic studies related to this or anything recent in the news? And then it gives you information from the local health database here, from the web search here, and then next steps, and then sources, obviously. So then common remedies to headaches, basically the same thing. And the good thing about it is if it doesn't have information, it doesn't hallucinate. It says, I don't have enough information. And basically same type of response. And let's say benefits of spirulina. Then it goes to the local health database always first. And if it doesn't have enough information, then it can go to other tools, so like web search, and it has next steps as well. So now let's go to the card mode for, let's say you want to learn more and you have some more time about learning about these different health concepts, you can go to card mode, which basically gives you a stack of cards that you can go through, and it's basically nice if you want to learn a lot, but you want to learn in a digestible format. So if you want to search sleep science and how it relates to nutrition, exercise, and stress, you can see it gives you a bunch of cards with sources that you can see and some action-oriented bullet points. And once you scroll, it basically gives you more. So it's like social media, but much more educational. And you can pin stuff to put it on the top of your stack. You can say tried, which puts it at the bottom, and more like this generates even more of the similar cards. So let's go back to the presentation. So benefits for students is that it's very time saving. So it's very good in terms of immediate access to trustworthy information. It's contextual, so it's tailored to the university student needs, and it's evidence-based because it combines credible sources. That's the end of this presentation, but I wanted to point out another feature is that when you save one of the cards, it actually goes to the My Stack. So let's say you want maybe a few hours down the line or a few days, you want to see the card again, you can see it in the My Stack. That's it for this presentation. Thank you so much.